There we go. There we go. Alrighty. I got it. Do 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 do. Oh, this is live. Yeah, welcome to another episode of Artco Drone Solutions. We've got a great show tonight. We've got a special guest tonight, Lloyd Mendenhall, the grumpy vlogger. He's filling in for Mel, who had to reschedule for another time. So, without further ado, let's get the guest on. Let's get Lloyd Mendenhall. Hello, Lloyd.
There.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Excellent, excellent. So, how you doing?
I am doing good.
Good, good. Who's that old guy Drone Crush asked? Hey, Drone Crush. This is going to confuse everybody. Whoops, hang on a second. I'm not hearing your sound. Why is that? Oh, I know why.
There we go. How's that?
Oh, there you go. All right, yeah. Those
all right.
transitions will get you every time.
Yep. Everything is working great. Mel was a great help getting me all set up, and we got a great new background. It looks awesome. I like the wood background. It looks great. And
I'm still able to be in my Area 51 studios.
Yeah, and that looks awesome too. Great, great.
Looks like Roger's in the house.
Cool. So I got some videos set up in the queue. So we'll play some of those a little later. So how's the weather there in Oklahoma?
Cold. Not as cold as in Colorado gets, but it's been running in the 30s today. Cloudy and misty, and we're under winter storm watch. We're actually talking about getting ice here in the next day or two. Yeah,
Wow.
It's living in Oklahoma. We're used to ice storms.
Yeah, we had a little bit of snow a little bit earlier today, and it's cleared up. The sun's out, but we're going to have another storm come in, I guess, tomorrow and Monday. So we're in for some snow. Haven't been able to get my drones out because the weather has been so spotty. But I was able to get the studio all set up and ready to go, and I am just stoked about this. This is going to be a great show.
Well, you've got it set up well. It's looking good. I got in here just as smooth as can be, so I know that Mel got you set up properly.
Right.
So.
So, yeah, I'm busy trying to line up guests for the show, and it's slowly coming along. And then I have another show that's on tomorrow afternoon. That's my political show.
Right.
So I've got some videos ready for that, and that should be a good show. I've got a guest on that show, comedian friend of mine by the name of Steve Epstein. He's from Santa Monica, California, and he's of like mind, so it should be a good show, and a little bit of humor sprinkled in. So that ought to be fun. So what's the news? I'm hearing some stuff about FAA came down with some new regulations about requiring droners to put their registration number on the body of the drone. What say you, Lloyd?
Yeah, they came out and said that drones have to put them on the outside, and the reason being is because should it crash and the authorities go to check on it, it could be some sort of nefarious person was flying that drone. They're scared of that, and they want to make sure that it's not got an explosive. Okay, it's happened in other countries. It could happen here, guys. So they want it marked on the outside so they can look at it, look it up, and make sure that it comes from a legitimate registered flyer, and they'll know before they handle it.
Right.
Or should something bad happen, they'll know how to find the bad guy with luck. That's their idea. So
there you go.
And Mel and I are in full support of it. It's just like any other aircraft. It's like any other aircraft.
Yeah, that's true.
That flies. They have to have a tail number. I know we were talking about this morning on Roger's show, and some of the guys that fly the fixed wings are into realism. And as I explained, when I was in the military, all of our aircraft had tail markings on them.
Right.
So this just goes with it. Just make it, if you want to, if you're flying a fixed wing, well then make it look like a military style or whatever kind of aircraft you're flying. Make it look like that. It's that simple.
And also, I just heard that Oklahoma state legislators are coming up with some pretty wacky rules there. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, some knothead up in our state legislature decided that it would be a great idea to make it illegal for all people that own a drone not to fly them in the rural part of the state. In other words, if you live in the country, you can't fly because you might see Betty Boop out there in her bikini. I don't know, and I said this morning, and of course I'm the grumpy vlogger, so I said this morning. Okay, living in Oklahoma, pound for pound, we have the biggest women in the state. I don't want to see somebody's wife out in the backwoods dressed up in a bikini, because most of them, no offense, but they would look like me in a bikini, and I don't want to see that. So I'm not going to be spying on those people, but it means that I can't even fly on my own property out where my lake lot's at. And I did write my local legislature and told him one thing: they don't have the authority because the skies are ruled by the FAA.
That's true.
Not the idiots up in the capital city of Oklahoma City.
Right. And
but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with Mel. Do you even know who your congressman is?
Do I know who he is? I wrote him last night, but I've slept since.
Not your state rep, but your U.S. your federal.
Is it Bridestein? I think it's Bridestein.
Okay, that's good. It's amazing how a lot of people have no idea who their congressman is or congressperson.
That's either I have to. We just changed over because one we had Oklahoma is real good about term limits, and our congressmen and senators have tried to stick with that, following that rule. We have the rule, but it's not enforceable.
Yeah.
But they've tried real close to staying that way.
Right. Yeah.
Steve Carpenter says he agrees. He doesn't want to see me in a bikini either.
About Rosie O'Donnell.
No, please. Oh, I'm going to have nightmares tonight.
Oh, boy, that's scary. Yeah, my congressman, sadly, is Ed Perlmutter. He's a Democrat, and he had a failed bid for the governorship here in Colorado. As soon as Polis decided to get in the race, Ed just said, I'm done. I'm out of here. I'll go back to being a congressman. But, yeah, we'll see if he might run for Senate. So that'll be interesting. My state rep is Tracy Kraft Tharp, Democrat, and state senator is Rachel Dingelunder Zenzinger, another Democrat. And,
Well, I stay out of politics
right,
when I'm on a drone show,
we'll leave
and
it right
I tend to, yeah, and of course you and I have talked, and we agree along the same lines. So, but
Right.
I'm sure there are some very nice Democrats out here in the drone world, and not all of them are bad.
No,
not all of them are good.
that's
It's
true.
the same with Republicans and independents. So, but I agree with you on a lot of things, So just so you know.
Okay.
You don't want me on a soapbox.
Right. Lloyd, how long were you in? You were in the Air Force, right?
I was in the Air Force for 6 years, and then I ended up in a wheelchair, and then I ended up with these things. I'm using these currently.
Right.
So, my multiple sclerosis caught me.
Right.
And so I was disabled out. So full disability, full retirement. They're taking care of me, but
that's good.
They can't decide if it was exposure to Agent Orange or radiation. So I don't have cancer, so I assume because I glow in the dark, it's the radiation that caused it.
Okay. Are you Vietnam era?
It's from.
Oh.
Huh?
Are you a Vietnam era vet?
It's from. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
And I just assumed. Okay.
And also, it's from being, believe it or not, I've actually been stationed.
I see. Okay, you were stationed at Nellis, so you were pretty close to the test.
I've been all over this map.
Okay.
Area 51's right there, everyone. Run to it.
I haven't been up that far north. I've been down to Vegas, and that's about it. I have some friends that live outside of Reno, not Reno, but Tahoe in Susanville, California. So one of these days I'll be able to make a visit to that neck of the woods. But one of the places I want to see is you can go on tour of the atomic proving grounds there. You could go to the Sudan Crater, which that would be awesome to see. I've been to the Meteor Crater in Arizona, and that is quite a sight. And I guess the Sudan Crater really compares to that one, almost as big a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, that was an underground test in the 60s where I believe that explosion did breach the surface, and
yes,
there was some radioactive material that got away. But I don't know if you know this, but Colorado's had some atomic tests. It was part of the Plowshares test.
Well, yeah, they not only that, but they had they mined uranium over in Grand Junction.
Yes, they did. And also,
I mean,
over here on this side of the divide, up in the Hogback, there's the Schwarzwälder mine that mined uranium there. But where you're talking about is Yerevan and that area, just south of Fruta.
Yeah, and not only that, but then they took all the mill tailings. In other words, what was left over after they got all the uranium out, they ground it up and they used it for landfill.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
of course, this could be another reason I glow in the dark, because my senior year, between my junior and senior year, they finally decided that stuff apparently wasn't good for you.
Oh boy!
So they started, they started digging all that stuff up. Okay, Well, they dug out from under our high school because it'd been used with that. It'd been
Oh
filled with that
boy.
stuff, and they excavated a whole thing.
Wow.
And I thought it would be a fun thing. Me and a couple other guys thought it'd be a fun thing to go up underneath the high school on the weekend when nobody was around and crawl around in this radioactive dust.
Oh boy.
What do we know?
Yeah.
We were 17 years old. We thought we were invincible.
That's right. That's right. Now, did you get a
5
chance
people in my high school class have MS.
Oh boy. That's sorry to hear about that. Now,
Well, just it, you know.
did you get a chance to go overseas while in the service?
I went to a couple of fun spots that I won't talk about.
Okay. Well, before I got my present job, I was a stand-up comic for 25 years. And I had the pleasure of entertaining our troops in Japan and South Korea, and that was the high point of my career, and I had such a blast over there. We went to first we went to Japan. We went to Misawa Air Base, which is on the Pacific side of the island of Honshu, up at the north end by Hokkaido. And then we went to Atsugi, which is west of Tokyo. And oddly enough, that was the same base my dad was stationed at in 1945, right after the war. He was part of the occupation force. And so I got to perform there. And then we went to Yokota, which is not far from there. And then we went down to Okinawa, where we were at Kadena Air Force Base. And it was so nice to be down there because it was January when we went. And it was cold in Japan, but not as cold as Korea was. When we got to Korea, it wasn't so bad. But when we got to Osan Air Base, we started getting some snow and it got cold there.
Yeah.
But that was a blast because once you walk off the base, it was like you're in a bazaar. There are stores, one right after another. I got a tailored suit for $150. I mean, that's a jacket, pants, and a shirt. Here in the States, it would probably cost $400 or $500. And I still have that suit. And I bought
and that was the thing. 90% of the guys that went to Vietnam, when they got to do R&R, they went to Hawaii. But a lot of them, or a lot of the guys, they try and get through Japan because they could stop and pick up all the really nice stereo. You always knew somebody who had been to Japan because they had the great, big Yamaha speakers and everything. They had all the good stuff.
Yep. I bought
that was a big,
jerseys.
especially back in the 70s. That was a big deal.
Yep. I got a Rockies baseball jacket, and I got a really nice satin jacket with the dragon on the back embroidered on. It says Korea, and it's got my name embroidered on the front, which was cool. I still have both of those jackets. But and then from there we went to Kunsan, and that was the last leg of our tour. The tour lasted 3 weeks, and just had a blast. So they gave us a choice. They said, well, you could take a 2 or 3 hour bus ride from Kunsan back to Seoul to Kimpo, or you could take a 45-minute flight from Kunsan to Kimpo and wait 8 hours for your flight back to LA. So when we heard that, we all raised our arm. There were three of us, and we said, "We'll take the plane," because we did the bus on the way down, and it was brutal. I mean, it was a nice bus, but sitting on that bus and I've heard about the potties in Korea, and if I had to go number two, there's no way I'm going to be able to squat. Not with the with this body of mine. It's not built for that.
It's not built for that, exactly. Yeah.
So
Steve Carpenter just said he's just leaving. And,
okay. Well, thanks, Steve, for coming in. What else? Oh, and so we get on the plane and we're flying back to LA. I'm sick as a dog. I caught a cold and I'm tired. So I'm watching the same movie I watched going back over to Japan. And one of the comedians kind of nudged me and said, "Hey, Art, I want you to meet my friend Roger." And I talked to Roger for a few minutes and didn't think much of it. He walked away and wait a minute, that guy looks really familiar. And I turned to the comedian and I said, "Is that Roger Clinton?" It was the president's brother that was on our flight, Bill Clinton's brother. And I'm like, how awesome was that? So,
well, it might depend.
Yeah,
on how awesome that was.
I mean, that's about the closest I'll ever be to the president. Let's say.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I got to admit that even I would be impressed. Actually, I probably would have rather have met Roger than I would have Bill, anyways.
Yeah.
Roger was more entertaining. It's like when I served under Jimmy Carter the most. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
After Jimmy, I would have rather have met Billy than Jimmy.
Yeah.
Because Billy had more of my way of thinking of things than what Jimmy did.
Yeah, he was an
you got to admire a man
guy.
that starts his own beer company.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's Mountain Dew, folks. I don't drink anything else.
Well, that's good.
And it's Mountain Dew straight. It has nothing else in it.
No Southern Comfort in there. No.
No, I gave all that stuff up about 35 years ago.
Right.
I didn't have a drinking problem. I had a stopping problem.
Okay. All right.
A gift from the military, if you might say.
Yep. Well, and being in the entertainment business, it's the same thing because when you're not working or you're traveling, you're bored as heck, and you got alcohol around, and there's that temptation, and so I could see why entertainers are drawn to either alcohol or drugs, and
yeah.
And comedians, we're a different breed of people, Some of us are normal people, and some of us have had crappy childhoods or had dysfunctional families, and
right. Can I give a shout out real quick to Rodney Bell?
Sure.
I hit my 500 goal today, and
Rodney
and I have been in competition.
Congratulations.
Okay, we've been in competition within 2 points of each other, and I jumped way up this morning on Roger's show. Okay?
Oh, great.
And Rodney didn't make the 500 mark yet, but he's like within 2 or 3 points, or maybe even 1 point.
Wow.
I want to help get him over, if you wouldn't mind. He's got to run, he said.
Okay.
But I would love to see Rodney get over 500, because he and I have been competing for about a month and a half or so.
Right.
And just within 2 points. Every time I'd catch up with him, he'd jump that 2 point. He's always and I beat him today. So I'd like to give a shout out to him. Also, a thanks to Roger from Canadian Drone Hub for really pushing me today to help me get over the top.
Great. Yeah, you know, I am so blessed being in this community, this drone community. For those of you who don't know, I was just blown away by something that happened a couple months ago. I had made a video where I wanted to do something different. I wanted people to see, you know, me and how I get to my drone flying. So I thought I'd be a little more cinematic. So I did a video where you see me getting out of my apartment and going up the stairs and then going outside and then going over to the playground, and then you see me coming to the you get the drift. And
right.
One particular fellow who saw that, who was so taken by it, Bill Horrells from Bill the Drone Reviewer.
Bill Drone Reviewer, yeah.
Decided to set up a drone GoFundMe and got me a Mavic Air with the works. And I was just like,
I know.
So blown. And you, Mel, Lloyd, you got me this great camera that I'm using right now, and because of Rick Halbert, who decided, hey,
no, Jim Crennan. It was. Let me think who donated it. Rick Halbert has donated the drone I'm giving away. That's if I don't drop behind. I notice I've dropped down to 501, so I need to keep my numbers up until Monday. But Rodney's over 500.
Okay, cool. Great.
Yeah,
great.
We were tied. He gets ahead, and I go back.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Well, I'm glad for him, though. I'm glad he made it over 500. But, yeah.
That's great.
The race to 1K begins. Yes, it does, Rodney.
Yeah. You know, I'm getting close to 400. Right now, I think I'm at 359. And I picked up a couple today. And so, you know, after this show, after I have my dinner, I'll go over and I'll cruise around the other shows and stop in, say hi, and leave a message or two, and move along. And
you'll make it.
There another droner also saw that same video. He sent me a Tello, but just the Tello with the battery charger and 3 batteries, which I thought was cool.
Right.
But not the remote. But which is fine. I think the phone app, from what I'm hearing, actually works better than the controller that flies it, because there's a little bit of lag in that. I don't know if I would notice much difference, but and plus it's cheaper that way too.
Yeah.
But you're giving away the Tello and the controller, which is cool.
And the controller.
Super.
Yeah, let me make a response here to someone in the chat.
All right.
They just subbed me, and I want to thank them. Let's see.
Cool.
Yeah, Rodney, you have a good one. And I'm going to do a cheap plug. I know it's your show, and I apologize.
That's all right. Go ahead.
This is the Tello drone. Let's see if I can get it without the light reflecting.
There you go.
Anyways, you guys know what it looks like. I'm covering up the word Tello. Tello drone. You know,
right.
Do the Vanna White thing, you know. There we go. And if I don't hang up on my earphone here and pull it out, the Mad Cats CTRL
cool
Bluetooth drone. Controller for the Tello drone.
Super.
And
that is awesome.
Steve Mack. That's my mind went blank. Steve Mack donated that camera. Jim Crennan won it, but he had gotten one for Christmas before everything went bad.
Okay.
For him.
Right.
And we want to remember him and his GoFundMe account too.
Right. Okay.
And he said to give it to you because at that time, Bill the Drone Reviewer was running your GoFundMe.
Right.
For that, and he thought you could use it, and so I was more than happy to send it to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. So I just put in the GoFundMe for Jim.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so what about, let's see, what else? Oh, now I know what I wanted to say. I just formed my LLC for Artco Drone Services. So I got that.
Excellent. Excellent.
And I got the name trademark. Thank you. Yeah, I gotta learn how to do something like that. Yeah, do you have hotkeys, right? Or do you have a regular separate board?
Well, it's changed. I do have hotkeys that I use. I set them up.
Right.
They're called shortcuts. You can set them up inside vMix.
Okay.
And what you have to do is for each sound effect, you have to set up a audio input. Okay?
Right. Yep.
And then what you do, you set up each one of them and then link it to, download. You can download all of these from YouTube. They've got them there.
Okay.
And you can just go download them. And they're MP3 files. Then you just audio link it.
Right.
Then you go into your shortcuts and set up your shortcuts.
Right.
But what I'm now using is called a SJCAM Mini Studio US42, and it's an interface. And I have my XL mic hooked up to it. Basically, that's what I'm using it for, is to balance out my mic and stuff. But it has a plug-in for my iPad.
Oh, okay, cool.
There it is. And then I have that.
Oh, super.
Some of those are green screening because they're green keys. And they're just plugged in from the headset out.
Right.
The headset out, and it's got a headset in. And this thing that's nice about it, it has a button over here that says on air, and it lights up red. And I can push that button again, and I can shut my mic off.
Oh, okay.
Doing something like that. Then it has a little something extra,
which I really enjoy using.
Oh, awesome. Oh, that is cool. Oh, man. Me, I am just using...
I can also do this.
I've got this microphone here. It's a USB microphone. And I'm not using the microphone on the camera.
Right. Neither am I.
I don't have a mixer. I did have a mixer when I first started streaming on YouTube a year or two ago, and I just kept having problems with it. But I do have an amplifier for my headphones, and because I'm hard of hearing, and
right.
So I need to up the volume just a tad, because I have what's called audio sclerosis, and what that is that's where you have calcium formations on the bones in the ear. So I've had 3 ear operations to correct that. So my right ear is my good ear, which is, I would say, 80%, maybe a little bit above that, and my left ear is about 75%.
Right.
But the thing is, tones. If someone is speaking a certain tone, it's like there's a hole where I'm like, could you say that again? You know, and certain frequencies
I have sort of the
kinda
same problem.
really bug me. Like where I work, the department next door, they have a little alarm that sounds like a high-pitched beep, beep, beep. A lot of the people there, they could, you know, they don't really notice it except the people that are in that department, because that's telling them they have to do something. Well, I'll be working away and I'm like going, well, is someone going to do something about that? That's been beeping for 5 minutes. And after 10 minutes, I get a little grumpy. Because, you know, it's kind of like fingernails on a chalkboard to me.
Chalkboard, yeah, and it grates on the nerves after a while.
And it also sets off my tinnitus or tinnitus too. And I'll start hearing that hissing sound after that. I'm like, ugh. Just drives me nuts. And so for those of you who don't know, I work at a dental manufacturing company where we make braces for teeth. And I've been there for 24 years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All
and
right.
we're a global company. We've got customers all over the world. So Lloyd, have you been to the Philippines?
No, I
No?
have not. Nope, I haven't been that direction. I've been south in places that are now considered tourist attractions, but when I was there, they weren't friendly.
Ah. Indonesia?
No. I've been to Central America. I spent quite a bit of time in
that's
Central
south.
America.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's south of here.
Ah.
Yeah, further
Okay.
south in Texas.
I see. Well, the furthest south
back
I've
in
been.
now
to
Honduras
Venezuela.
is a vacation resort.
Right.
You been to Venezuela?
Yes. Back in 1990, I had the pleasure of working at the Holiday Inn in Aruba at the Comedy Zone. And it was a month-long gig. So we worked 6 nights
in
a
Aruba?
week. And on my day off, I just happened to have a friend from Denver living in Caracas. And I called her up and I said, hey, Janet, I'm right here in Aruba. Would you mind if I come over and spend the day and come back the next day? She said, sure, no problem. And what an experience that was. I didn't speak any Spanish at that time, but she was nice enough to give me instructions. I got to the airport there, which is on the other side of the mountain from the city, and I had to take a cab into the metro down there, and that's where I met Janet. And that was the first time I'd ever been on a subway. And we got to downtown and we visited her father's store, which was in one of the buildings downtown, and which was just a few blocks from the legislative building. And so I got to see Caracas before it fell apart like it is now. It was a thriving, bustling city. Now it's all falling to pieces. People are starving. Yeah. Well, all right, we won't go there. Getting on my soapbox again.
Well, that country, that and many of the countries down there have just they've gone through. They've gone up and down. So if you look back in the 30s, when there was a lot of influence from the European side of things, and you had there's a lot of the British lived there, and stuff. So that's just like, Honduras. I mean, I'd have never thought of Honduras as a a playground of the rich and famous now. Because when I was there, well, I was there in an advisory capacity, let's put it that way, and it just wasn't, it wasn't a playground when I was there,
Mel, you could say Contras?
Well, I will disavow any knowledge of any of that stuff. It's it's a long story, but we were in the United States was involved in politics in the Central America, and that was
they've been involved,
right or wrong.
Honduras, Guatemala.
We were in somebody's,
Yep.
I'm not even going to ask what Star Cop is talking about right now because I don't think I want to know.
I was
chat.
briefly
Something about
engaged
pockets in his
to a
pants,
woman
I don't
from
know.
Honduras, which was
Who
very
is?
interesting. Turns out she was a socialist, and I'm like, glad that didn't work out. But I was in the Philippines a couple years ago, and plan to go back next year around this time, and I'm hoping the company will do what they did this week. They gave us a flex week where we worked 4 10-hour days, and we got Friday off, which made it a 4-day weekend because we get President's Day off. So if they do it again next year, I could do a little over 2 weeks vacation without using up 80 hours of vacation time. Otherwise, I have to go to HR and go through all that rigmarole and all that stuff. So that'll work out great because if I time it just right, I get leave right after work, and it's a darn long flight. When I went last year, it was 21 hours. I mean, I flew from Denver to San Francisco to Beijing, and Beijing to Manila. But I'm hoping that next year we've got direct flights to Tokyo. So if I work it just right, I could fly from Denver straight to Tokyo, 2-hour layover, and then fly right into Manila from there. And I'm definitely bringing my Mavic Air with me.
Okay, cool. Speaking of Mavic Air, that's one of the things a good co-host is supposed to do. I do it for Mel, he does it for me. Let's get you back on to what do you got going on in the drone world today?
Well, let's see, my
I threw you, didn't I?
My last upload was a couple weeks ago, and the weather has been really spotty around here. Yesterday, nice sunny day, windy. Today it was cold and windy, and then snow is coming in. Here in Colorado, the weather changes so much. Wait 5 minutes and it'll be great weather. I get my drone all ready to go, get out to where I need to go, and all of a sudden the wind comes in. And that's what happened to me a couple weeks ago when I was searching for my drone with the Mavic Air. And I wanted to be on the other side of the tree so I could get a straight line to the crash site and look for the drone. And so it's like a half-a-mile hike for me, but it was all sidewalk for me. But I had all my stuff in a 5-gallon bucket, and I'm carrying that for a half a mile. So when it was all said and done, boy, was I tired that weekend. But got some pretty nice
What drone
footage.
is it that you're looking for?
It is a Phantom 3 Standard that I lost a year ago in August. What I was trying to do was give a summer view of the place where I go fishing. And it's a little creek that empties into like a pool. And that's where I catch those big carp that are on my other channel, Art's Place Fishing.
Right.
And I had grabbed the wrong battery. I grabbed the battery that I used the day before, and by the time I got to where I was going, I was at 50% and declining. And then all of a sudden I hear a beep, 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 battery low, returning to home. What? And then it hit a branch or tree, and then it crashed. But from what I saw on the DJI replay, where it shows you where the drone flew, it shows that it landed on land. And I think if it would have crashed in the water, I think I would have maybe seen some water from the camera. But what happened was it hit something, and then the camera started spinning like the opening of the Batman series, and then it just went blank.
Did you post a video about that?
Yes, I did. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I thought, because I'm thinking that's probably one of the first times I saw something from you is when I remember seeing a video, because this whole thing is it sounds like something. I think, man, I've seen this, and I must have watched it. So, but I'm old. I forgot what I had for supper last night. No, I didn't. Hey, shout out to Chris Hope. Yes, I had chili, and I had chili Frito pie tonight. Just so you know, Chris, it's a side note with us. Yeah, kind of an inside story there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm either having venison tenderloin, or I'm going to have beer battered fish. I don't know. Yeah, so I'd
have the tenderloin first. I'm not a fish person.
Yeah.
You'd think, growing up in Colorado and fishing and all that, I would want the fish, but
right.
I live in Oklahoma. Catfish is a big thing. I'm not a catfish eater. I do love. We do have some places like up where my cabin's at. We can trout fish up in that area.
Oh,
so, cool. And we have some nice. They stock them. But they do in a lot of places in Colorado too. So.
Yep.
But a good trout I enjoy, but I haven't had one of those in years. So.
Yeah.
But this isn't your fishing channel. This is your drone channel.
That's all right. When I was on Ken's show, he had mentioned that he had seen me, and it was back in the 90s. He saw me on a comedy channel called Short Attention Span Theater, and that show is about where they take short clips of comedians from clubs from around the country. And this was from a little club that I worked at in Fort Wayne, Indiana, that did a weekend show, kind of like the Tonight Show, where the host would come out, tell a few jokes, then he'd sit at his desk, and the comedians would come out and do 5 or 10 minutes or so, and then you invite him over, chat with them, and bring up the next one. Well, the reason I got on that show was I was the MC, and it was during March Madness, and the host didn't want to mess with it, so I was able to be on the show. I wasn't supposed to be on
Right.
air. I was just gonna go out and warm up the crowd and bring up the next two comedians, which it all worked out great. And after that happened, a few months later, I started getting people saying, "Hey, I saw you on TV," and I'm like, "What?" And then it kind of dawned on me it was that show. So that was great.
That show, yeah.
Ken remembered me from way back.
Yeah.
When and
well, it's like I watch those clips that you have on your show, and it's like it's almost like, man, he looks familiar. It's like, yeah. So
yep.
Yeah, I recognize you more as once you said it, and I saw you as a younger person. Oh, okay, yeah,
boy.
Okay.
You know what? It's hard to believe some of those videos are almost 30 years old. Ice. Oh, release the hounds, Lloyd.
Do what?
Release the hounds. I hear your dogs barking.
Yeah. Oh, you're lucky. On my show Monday night.
Yeah, I heard that.
Did you hear Ranger, that big one?
Yep.
Yeah, I about had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Because he was 15, 20 foot away when he barked.
Wow.
And he was still...
That was so priceless. That just killed.
Yeah.
Hey,
now, he's over 130 pounds.
Yeah, I know. Those dogs are huge. I was doing some cleaning up today, and I found this tape. And it's not marked, but it's used, and I pretty much know there's some comedy stuff on here. Now, I'm looking for someone who could take this and digitize this for me. I probably could find somebody here in Denver, but it would be great if they could take this, digitize it for me, put it on an SD card or something. Pardon?
Is it a video or an audio tape?
It's a video.
Okay, so it's a...
Yeah, it's what they call a high 8 millimeter.
High 8, yeah, that's what I was thinking. High 8, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It looks like a cassette, but it's thicker. And
well, that's why I was looking at the number on it. It said MF something, and I thought...
Yeah, MP
I was pretty sure that was a high 8. I couldn't remember the name.
Yeah, it means 120 minutes. Yeah. And it's about half used up, so there's about, I guess, an hour's worth of something on there. It'd be kind of cool to go through that and
see what was on there.
Yeah, because later on in my career, I originally had a VHS camera, and if you don't know, they were this huge camera, and I had a really sturdy tripod for it, and then later on I was able to afford this Sony that took the high 8, which was, it's analog, but the quality is much better than the VHS. Now I looked up on eBay for players, and I'm like, I'm not going to spend that kind of money just to do one cassette. So
yeah, I used to have a high 8 camera, but I switched over to a digital.
Right.
It stores it on it's a Sony, and it's not even high def anymore.
Right.
But when I got it, it was but it used the Sony memory stick.
Yeah.
Or it would burn directly to the little mini DVD.
Oh yes.
Or it stored it internally. So.
Right. Yeah, I've got a couple.
It was fancy
of those.
when I bought it.
Yeah, I've got a couple those digital video cameras, but the megapixels are like so low that it wouldn't be worth using it. I did use one of them to when I was on the Aurora Open Space Advisory Board, and my project was to go to the park that I was assigned to and do a report about it. And I took my camera, and that video is still on my channel. And so that was my first attempt at digital video editing. But before that, I edited with this little gizmo where I could up the sound, I could change the contrast and stuff a little bit, and it had those little sliders to change things. Boy. Wow, I can't believe we've done an hour.
I don't know if it's me or not, but it seems like whenever Mel's show was only supposed to ever be 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But he and I get to talking, and it's always an hour or more.
I can see why. You're a great guest, and I am
thank you so much.
to get you last minute, and it worked out just fantastic.
You was lucky because I was just about to have supper and take my old man nap. Because I got up early this morning. I woke up early for some reason, which I never wake up early because I'm retired. I don't have to.
Yeah.
But I woke up like at 8:30, and I kind of rolled over. Poor old Roger wasn't even hardly awake. He was kind of, he says, I got to go get some coffee. And then he said, come on the show. And Mel showed up and started making fun of me wearing my robe and stuff. And I thought, well, excuse me, but bite me, Mel. So I came on and I got dressed and I came on the show.
There you go. There you go.
So Mel and I are good friends, so I can give him that kind of stuff.
Yeah. He's a neat guy.
Yellow Golden Dry, old guy in a drone. Boy, I stumbled over that. But yeah, I am everywhere. I don't know why. I'm just showing up like a bad penny.
Well, I'm pretty close to retiring myself. I just turned 59, and right now I could go on disability and get 100% of my Social Security. I could go to the Philippines and live pretty well. I could rent a 3-bedroom house for $300 a month.
Now, are there restrictions on that? Because there used to be a long time ago that if you went out of the country and you were drawing Social Security, you had to return to the States every so often, certain times. You're allowed 6 months out and 6 months in, I think.
I don't think they have that now. I think what they have is what they call a dead letter. You're supposed to check in and tell them, hey, I'm still alive, because there are a lot of expats that are retiring in the Philippines. For example.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
There's
you really need to check in, otherwise you might be registered as a Democrat.
I follow this guy.
Sorry.
He's also ex-military like you, and he married a Filipina, and he started his own show where he bought a lot at a subdivision, and you got to see him build his house. And I started watching that like right near the beginning. I watched it every day. And this guy uses a drone in his videos now and then. And I'm trying to get him on on this show, and the name of his show is My PI Dreams, and his name is James Tanner, and he's from South Carolina, and he gives you a lot of DIY on, you know, house repairs and stuff like that. And so I got to learn a lot about living in the Philippines and how you could get your funding over to the Philippines. So I get my Social Security right to my bank, and I could transfer it to my bank in the Philippines and have everything taken care of. You know, this is what really bugs Greg Cooner, is the Philippines has fiber. Australia doesn't have fiber.
You know, Australia's had problem with their internet as long. I've got friends that I've been friends with through the internet for over 20 years, and we talk all the time. Well, if you've ever been on my show, you'll see Grant, Mr. Stay Drunk.
Yeah.
I've known him for just over 20 years. We started gaming together back 21 years ago. I started a flight sim group. I still have my flight sim website up. It's been up for I've had that for 21 years, but anyways, that's so they've had garbage internet as long as I've known them.
About the only thing that's expensive there is electricity, because, you know, their infrastructure isn't all that great, and you're going to have rolling brownouts every so often, but they're getting better. And if they could get their stuff together, I think they could be a powerhouse in Asia. But they gotta, you know, clean up their corruption and get their act together.
They've had a lot of
problems over the years with
that.
But then I don't have to worry about snow. The people are really friendly there. My only thing is my girlfriend there, she lives out in the province, and that might be a little too quiet for me. But maybe that might be
coming
something
from a place like Denver
that could rejuvenate me and get me going. But I'll definitely still do the vlogging out there. It'll just, you know, evolve into something else. So, but I'm also trying to.
Dronacy said bring solar to the Philippines. I mean, you could set up if you set up a house and you do it with solar.
Oh yeah, that's the
you
other
don't have to worry about the rolling brownouts.
Yep, and that's what James Tanner did. Is he's got solar hot water heat, and he got a generator. He built his house with a basement, and he's got underground parking at his house. So if you get a chance, go check out his channel. He's very entertaining.
I'd put a link in the description in this after this because you can always go back after if you let us for the replay. You can go back and change that description. I put the link in there, so
there you go.
That because we've talked about it here, so it might be interesting to some of these guys.
Okay,
I know it would be to me.
We'll do that. Great idea, Lloyd. Great idea.
And we've pushed it to 7:02 now.
Okay. All right.
So
but what I'll do real quickly.
It's your show. You stay on as long as you want. I'm good, but you know, I know a lot of the guys like to get over and watch the Everyday Dad.
All right. Well, if you want to go ahead, I'm just going to show. This is my intro to my fishing channel.
I'll stay here as long as you.
And that's what that looks like.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yep. And this is the video from when I was looking for my drone. It's a little long, but we'll just let it play for a few minutes and then we'll get back to our regular scheduled programming here. So here I am. That's the sidewalk that I was on, and we're going to go straight forward, and that's where the crash site is. So you can see where the creek S shapes over to the left, and then it'll go to the right. And there is some wonderful wildlife there. There are hawks, tons of prairie dogs there. They love barking at me when I'm out there. And see those two trees right about in that spot there is where it took a dive. So we had a stretch of cold temps, so the water is still is frozen in parts. So I'm panning down so I could get over there and take a look-see here. And this is all internal memory on the Mavic Air. At that time I didn't know how to switch it over to where it records on the SD card. So I'm pretty much close to where the crash site is, and pretty soon I will pan down, and because there is snow on the ground, it's going to be pretty hard to see where the drone landed. However, I have red props on that drone, so I'm probably too high to see where it landed, but next time I get out there, I'll use my Phantom 3 Advance and go from that little street that you just saw there. Yeah, right there where that drive is, that cul-de-sac area. That's where I will launch next time. And right over there where you see that frozen area, that's where I catch the carp. And it's a little creek that runs into that. That's called Airport Creek. And it runs into there. And this is when my battery started to die on me, and I had to make a run back to my landing area. And there you can see me right almost in the center down towards the bottom. You can see my little homemade landing pad that I made out of cardboard taped together with duct tape, and I used washers on the corner to hold it down. And we're almost done here, and then we'll close out the show. And here I am coming down, and the battery got pretty critical, and it wouldn't go over on the landing pad, so I ended up landing like a couple feet away from the landing area. Here you'll probably see me here in a few seconds, and there's the sidewalk, and there I am right there. Oh, and I had there's my landing pad that I made out of cardboard. And I had the range extenders on the antennas. And there she goes. Alrighty. And we're back. Live with Lloyd.
Now, where was that at? Where was that at?
That's Big Dry Creek. That's at Sheridan, just south of 112th Avenue.
You know, if a lot of people go out there, there's a possibility that drone's not there anymore.
Yeah,
Unless it's on private
I
property.
would not. Well, that's open space there. That's part of the city of Westminster. So, and
okay,
plus,
that's what. Yeah, okay, that's why it looks so familiar. That's why I kept trying to find out where's that at, because you know, it wasn't so much the exact place looked familiar. It was the surrounding. You know, there's a lot of that I grew up watching. You know, and seeing. So, yeah.
Yep. And teenagers like to hang out down there and drink, because we find a lot of beer cans and beer bottles down there.
Yeah, and how long ago did you lose this?
A year ago in August.
I
No,
doubt
it
it's
was
going to be
last
there,
August.
in all honesty.
It was last August.
Yeah.
So
It's last August? Okay. Yeah. I mean, I hope it is for you. It'd be cool.
yeah,
If you find it.
if I could get that SD card and kind of look at what the camera was seeing at the last few seconds, that'd be awesome. Well, Lloyd, I want to thank you for coming on last minute. You did a super job. You were what can I say? You were a terrific guest.
Thanks for having me. You know, I appreciate it. I really do. And I enjoyed it. Anytime, if I can, you know, there's going to be times I can't, but I know Mel's the same way. And Mel has stepped up the plate for me a couple times on some things. So he actually called and said, "Hey," and I got your message just not long after that. And I said, "Sure, yeah, why not? I can go take my nap."
All right. Well, you have a good nap and get all fresh for the morning. And get your Sunday school clothes on and get ready.
Right. Well, what I've actually got to do is finish editing the video that's announcing the giveaway so that people can enter that. But just
there you go.
So you know, the video will be up within the next hour. And anybody who is subscribed to me and wants to win that Tello, all they got to do is put in there in the comments, and I think it's, "Hello, I want the Tello."
There you go.
And then I'll use the random
number generator
comment picker. But if that's not in there, now if you don't need the Tello, or if you don't need it, you know, don't get it to give away on your channel, you know. But if you need it, feel free to enter, you know, because you know, let's let somebody who could use it, somebody who would enjoy it. You know?
Fine.
I mean, granted, if you've got like a big drone and you would love to have the Tello to fly around the house, you know, in the wintertime or something, I understand that. I'd like to have it myself, but I'm not eligible. So I gotta wait for somebody else to give away a Tello.
There you go.
But anyways, but that's what it's going to be. So thanks, Art, for letting me put in some shameless plugs and having me on as a guest, as your first guest. It was supposed to have been Mel. I'm not Mel, but
that's how it goes.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay. Well, you have a good night, and I will see you Monday.
Monday night, 7 o'clock.
Monday night on your show.
The Grumpy Vlogger channel.
Yep. Okay. All right, good night.
All right there.
Lloyd Mendenhall, the Lloyd.
All right, good night. All right. Catch you later.
All right, bye-bye. All right, well, that was super. Thanks for Lloyd for coming on, and I want to thank all you guys out there. I'm going to jump back in, and boy, we've been on for 1 hour and 22 minutes. Actually, it was a little less than that, because there's like 5 minutes or so that I you know, did kind of a intro to the show. Andrew Altschwager, thanks for joining in. Good day, mate, from Australia. Drone Obsessed, thanks for stopping by. Drone Shots, I will head over to Canadian Drone momentarily. I probably won't stay too long because, oh, what the heck, I'll stay for a while. I eat a little later. So, I just want to thank you all for joining up. And wow, how many? We got 13 people watching today. Cool. That's great. Not bad for my first show with the guests, but we're working on it. This show is going to be growing, and we'll get you some great guests. So until next time, you guys have a great weekend. I'm going to have those venison steaks. And have a great weekend. Have a great President's Day for those of you who might be taking that day off. Until next time, good night, everybody.